Here we have our helicopter high flow neb MDI bag. Inside are some easy use instructions, along with a meter dose inhaler, albuterol, duo neb. We also have high potency albuterol, and we just added racemic epi also. Saline bullets, handheld nebulizer kit, adult neb mask, pediatric neb mask, and then we have our universal MDI adapter kit. Inside the handheld nebulizer kit, you'll find these 5 pieces necessary to assemble it. First, you'll take your neb cup and apply a T-piece to the top. Inside the neb cup is where you'll place your medication. On one side of the T-piece, you'll place a mouthpiece, and the opposite side will get the corrugated tubing or the pipe. To the bottom of the neb cup, you'll place oxygen tubing, and the other end of the oxygen tubing will go to oxygen supply at 8 to 10 liters per minute. Now, if for whatever reason the patient can't hold the pipe, remove it from the top of the neb cup and replace it with a mask. If your patient requires positive pressure ventilation along with a nebulizer treatment, you'll take a spring-loaded T-piece, pop the cap off the bottom, and apply it to the top of the neb cup. Then you'll take the large diameter end of the T-piece and place it straight to the bag valve. On the other end of that, you'll place your corrugated tubing, and then you'll use one small piece out of this universal MDI adapter kit. Place it on the other end of the corrugated tubing, end tidal CO2, and now that can be placed onto the mask. Try to make sure you keep your neb cup in a vertical position so that it can nebulize properly. This assembly can attach to an ET tube the same way it does a mask. Now, to administer a meter dose inhaler treatment in line with your bag valve mask, you're going to want to take this T-piece adapter from your MDI adapter kit, place it in between the bag valve and the end tidal with the mask attached to the end. To ensure your MDI cartridge is ready for use, prime it 4 times in the oral applicator, then remove it, place it in the T-piece, and now you're ready to apply MDI treatments in line with your bag valve. As I mentioned earlier with the inline nebulizer treatments, the mask can be removed from this assembly and replaced with an ET tube, and you can apply MDI treatments to your patient with the exact same setup. Here are the pieces necessary to administer a nebulizer treatment in line with a CPAP mask. You're going to take your neb cup, apply the spring-loaded T-piece to the top of that, medication inside the cup. Take your manometer, place it on the large diameter end of the T-piece. Take the opposite end and place it inside the CPAP mask. Now it's important to note that you'll need separate oxygen supply, one for the CPAP mask and one for the nebulizer itself. If you want to administer an MDI treatment in line with your CPAP, all you need is one piece from the MDI adapter kit, the T-piece connector. Place that in between your manometer and the CPAP mask. As before, you're going to want to prime your MDI 4 times prior to use. Place the cartridge inside the T-piece connector and administer the medication. To administer a nebulizer treatment in line with the ventilator, we need to identify the inspiratory leg of the circuit. Where that connects to the Y, you'll disconnect it, and in between, place your spring-loaded T-piece. Then attach the neb cup assembly to the bottom of the T-piece, and on the end of the Y you can place end tidal CO2 and then attach a BiPAP or CPAP mask for non-invasive positive pressure ventilation. Now in the previous section I showed you an application for the inline nebulizer treatment where you'd have to use a separate oxygen source for your neb as opposed to the ventilator itself. Here you can actually use the ventilator as the neb source also. So you want to turn it on and select New Patient, Adult, if applicable, and Intubated. It has to be an intubated patient because you're going to have to be in a volume mode in order to make this ventilator work as the neb source. Now to get into the back menu and the nebulizer settings, you're going to hold down Select until Standby appears. At that point you can rotate the knob to the right to go through your settings. Get to the neb setting and it'll show you that if you want to apply a neb, your bias flow needs to be 10. These ventilators default at 5. So to get to the bias flow settings, keep scrolling in the same back menu until you get to vent control. Select that, then scroll to the right until you get to bias flow. Select bias flow and change that setting from 5 to 10. Press select again, and now your bias flow is set at 10. At this point, you'll go back to your nebulizer settings, select it, and then you can scroll through and see that you can do a continuous neb and select the duration of time that it continues for, or you can synchronize your neb treatment with your inspirations. If you'd like to select the neb duration, it defaults at 15 minutes. You can go up or down from there if you'd like. Select it, and then start your neb treatment. If you want to use the oxygen tubing from our handheld neb kit, you'll have to make a little adjustment and clip the big end off of the green side. Take that and place it on the port on the left side of the ventilator next to where the oxygen supply is for the ventilator. On the other side, you'll take the oxygen tubing and place it on the bottom of the nebulizer cup. Connect to your patient, and in this example, you'll see the ventilator being used as a synchronized neb source with each inspiration. To switch from inspiratory only to continuous, cancel your neb treatment, go back to the neb menu, scroll over to neb sync, continuous, neb start. Now your nebulizer will be running continuously using the ventilator as the neb source. Let's go over how to apply an MDI in line with your ventilator. As before, we're going to want to identify the inspiratory leg of the vent circuit, disconnect it at the Y, and place your MDI adapter, which comes in the universal MDI kit, right in the middle there. Connect the circuit to your end tidal CO2 and then to your patient's ET tube or trach. Next, you're going to remove the cap on the MDI T-piece. Prime your MDI cartridge 4 times, as before, in the oral applicator, and then remove it. Place it inside the MDI T-piece, and now you're ready to administer MDI treatments to your patient in line with the ventilator.